There are places in the world that just feel different. Places where the air is heavy and the silence is a little too loud. In the heart of Rajasthan, there's a ruined fort that's the stuff of nightmares. So today, we're not just going to talk about it. We're unlocking the gates to Bhangarh Fort. So, what's the big deal about this place? Well, let me tell you, this is not your average campfire ghost story. Bhangarh is officially ranked as the number one, the single most haunted place in all of India. People don't really come here for the history lessons, they come to be terrified.
And look, this isn't just some local legend or word of mouth rumor. The fear here is so real that the government itself has put up a warning. The Archaeological Survey of India, the official folks in charge, have a rule that's as clear as it is chilling. After 6 p.m., you are not allowed inside. Strictly prohibited. No exceptions.
Okay, a government warning. That's serious stuff. So why does this rule exist? What actually happens after dark? To really get a feel for what's behind that sign, we need to hear a more modern story. It's about a man who decided to break that very rule. A tour guide named Manav.
So let's meet Manav. He's this young guy, just 20 years old, and he's a tour guide. For him, this ancient, ruined fort, it was his office. His whole job was to walk tourists through the ruins and tell them the stories of the place, bringing its history and its legends to life. He knew every single corner of that fort.
But here's the thing about Manav. He was smart. He knew a dry history lesson wasn't going to pay the bills. The tourists, they came for the ghosts. They wanted the chills. So he would, add a little spice to his stories. He'd embellish the tales, make them extra creepy. He even had a name for it. He called it his business of fear. All right, so picture this. It's one fateful evening, and Manav is just about ready to pack up and go home. Suddenly, a group of college kids shows up. It's already way past the 6 p.m. cutoff. They start begging him for a tour, and at first he says no, but then they offer him extra money. A lot of it. And for Manav, who was the only one supporting his family, the temptation was just too much. And just like that, he broke the number one rule of Bhangarh. So as the sun is going down, casting these long, creepy shadows across the ruins, Manav is in his element. He's telling his most dramatic, most spooky stories. The students are completely captivated. Then, a couple of them say they need to use the washroom and wander off. Manav just tells them, "No problem, I'll wait for you right here." So he waits. 5 minutes go by, then 10. By now, the sun is completely gone, and this deep, unsettling silence just falls over the entire fort. The students, they're just gone. They vanished, leaving Manav completely and totally alone in the pitch-black dark. You can just imagine that feeling, right? That cold wave of panic. He sprints to the main gate, this massive iron door, and yanks on it, but it's locked, solid. There is nobody around for miles, and that's when it hits him, this absolutely horrifying thought. What if all those stories I make up for money, what if they're actually true? And his night of terror began. Around 7 p.m., he heard women laughing from behind a curtain. When he checked, there was nothing but darkness. An hour later, he's being chased through the ruins by a woman with this twisted, permanent smile on her face. He ducks into a lit shop, only to watch the shopkeeper transform into that very same smiling woman. Then, ghostly figures literally start emerging from the walls, swarming him. His only escape is a small temple. He scrambles up the stairs, and the spirits can't follow him inside. He collapses, and when he wakes up at sunrise, he just flees without a single word. So, an experience like that, where does all that terror come from? It's not like these stories just appeared out of nowhere. Manav's horrifying night is really just a modern echo of legends that go back centuries. It all comes down to two ancient curses that sealed Bhangarh's fate. Okay, so there are two big ones. First, there's the Sadhu's curse. The story goes that a holy man allowed the fort to be built, but with one condition: its shadow could never touch his home. Well, eventually, a later king got ambitious, built the fort higher, and the shadow fell on the hut. The curse was triggered, and the kingdom was swiftly destroyed. Then you have the Tantric's curse. This one's about a powerful sorcerer who was obsessed with the beautiful Princess Ratnavati. He tried to use black magic, enchanting a bottle of perfume to make her fall for him, but she figured it out and threw the bottle at him. It turned into a boulder and crushed him, and with his dying breath, he cursed the entire fort to a violent, restless end.
All right, so we've got the chilling modern account and these tragic ancient legends. Which, of course, brings us to the big question. I mean, after everything we've heard, you have to ask, is this place genuinely a portal for spirits, or is there maybe something else going on here? It's time to, take a step back and look at this with a more skeptical eye.
So here's the other side of the coin. For all the incredible stories, there is a surprising lack of hard evidence. Many paranormal investigators have explored the fort. Even the renowned investigator Gaurav Tiwari came here and found nothing significant. And let's be real, we know that guides like Manav have a reason to make the stories as scary as possible, right? So you have to wonder if Bhangarh is truly the #1 most haunted place, or if it's just the perfect storm of a spooky atmosphere and the power of suggestion.
And this really gets to the heart of the Bangarha legend. The narrator of our source material leaves us with this pretty profound thought. It translates to, fear has no meter. Think about that. You can't measure it. You can't quantify it with any scientific tool. So, whether the ghosts are real or just a product of our imagination and some well-told stories, the feeling of fear people have inside those walls, that is absolutely real. And maybe that's the only truth that really matters.